Canned foods quick, cheap, and always there when you need them. But what if I told you that some of these pantry lifesavers are actually harming your health? From hidden metals and preservatives to shocking mold and contamination reports, not every can is as safe as it seems. In today's video, we're revealing 8 canned foods you should absolutely avoid at all costs, plus a few healthy ones that are actually worth buying. Let's crack this open, so stick around till the end, and don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening food breakdowns, just like this one. 1. Canned soup, the hidden sodium bomb. It's cold outside and you're tired, and you just want something quick, warm, and comforting. You grab that can of chicken noodle soup from your pantry, a classic favorite. You pour it into a bowl, heat it up, and take that first spoonful thinking, this tastes like home. But what you don't realize is that with every sip, you're flooding your body with sodium, preservatives, and chemical additives that your heart will be paying for later. Let's get real. Canned soup might be one of the most deceptive comfort foods ever made. On the surface, it seems harmless. It's got chicken, some noodles, maybe a few vegetables. What could go wrong, right? But when you turn that around and actually read the label, it's like reading a horror story. A single serving of popular soups like Campbell's Chunky Chicken Noodle, Progresso Chicken and Rice, or Chef's Cupboard Chicken Noodle can have between 800 to 1,200 milligrams of sodium per serving. And here's the trick, most cans don't have one serving. They have 2 or more, so if you eat the entire can, which most people do, you're taking in up to 2,400 milligrams of sodium in one meal. That's more than your entire recommended daily limit. And that's just the salt. Many of these soups are also filled with MSG, monosodium glutamate, a flavor enhancer that triggers overeating, headaches, and dehydration. MSG gives that umami punch, but at the cost of long-term health. Studies have linked high MSG consumption to metabolic syndrome, obesity, and even anxiety in sensitive individuals. Then there's BPA, or bisphenol A, the chemical used to line the inside of cans. When heated or stored too long, BPA can seep into your food. Research has shown BPA exposure can mess with your hormones, affect fertility, and even increase the risk of cancer. And those reduced sodium or healthy choice labels? Total marketing gimmicks. The so-called low-sodium versions still pack 400 to 600 milligrams per serving. That's still sky-high and usually balanced out with artificial potassium chloride or chemical flavorings to make up for the lost salt taste. The truth is, these soups are mass-produced salt and chemical cocktails, not wholesome meals. You're basically drinking flavored salt water with a few soft noodles and overcooked meat bits floating around. If you really crave soup, here's what to do: skip the can and make your own batch. Use low-sodium broth, fresh herbs, and real vegetables. You can cook once and refrigerate for days, same convenience, but without poisoning your body slowly. So next time you reach for that shiny can, remember what feels comforting might actually be comforting your cravings, not your health. 2. Canned tuna, the mercury trap. For decades, canned tuna has been the healthy lunchbox hero. Low fat, high protein, and convenient. Fitness enthusiasts love it. Dieters swear by it, and busy people rely on it for a quick meal. But here's the dark truth. That innocent-looking can of tuna might be one of the most toxic foods sitting in your pantry. Let's start with the biggest villain, mercury. Tuna, especially larger species like albacore, white tuna, sit high on the ocean's food chain. That means they eat smaller fish contaminated with mercury, and over time, mercury builds up in their bodies and eventually in yours. The FDA has repeatedly warned that too much canned tuna can lead to mercury poisoning, which affects your nervous system, kidneys, and brain function. If you've been feeling unusually fatigued, forgetful, or foggy and you eat tuna often, it might not be a coincidence. Long-term mercury exposure has been linked to memory loss, tremors, mood swings, and even neurological damage in children and pregnant women. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll just stick to light tuna. Sure, it's a little lower in mercury than albacore, but here's the catch. Most canned tuna brands are still testing well above the safe limits for frequent consumption. A 2019 Consumer Reports investigation found that even light tuna can push your mercury intake past the recommended weekly limit if you eat it more than twice a week. And mercury isn't the only concern. Many canned tuna products are packed in cheap oils, often soybean or vegetable oil that oxidize quickly, reducing the fish's natural omega-3 benefits. So instead of getting those heart-healthy fats you were promised, you're getting rancid, inflammatory oils that contribute to the exact opposite effect. Then there's the BPA issue again. Most cans are still lined with bisphenol A, which can disrupt your hormones. Combine that with trace metals and preservatives, and you're looking at a chemical cocktail that no healthy food should ever contain. And don't even get started on sustainability. Overfishing, bycatch, and destructive fishing practices tied to mass-market tuna brands like Chicken of the Sea, Bumblebee, and Starkist have been exposed repeatedly in documentaries and news reports. These companies have faced public backlash and even lawsuits over unsafe mercury levels and misleading dolphin-safe claims. So next time you see that stack of tuna cans on sale, remember, what looks like a protein-packed deal might actually be a slow dose of heavy metal toxicity. If you truly crave seafood, you'll want to hear the healthy alternatives later options that give you the protein, taste, and nutrition without the poison. 3. Canned chili, the chemical stew. Canned chili, the ultimate quick comfort food. Whether it's on nachos, hot dogs, or eaten straight from the can, it's marketed as hearty, flavorful, and satisfying. But here's the ugly truth. Most canned chili is a toxic blend of preservatives, fats, and mystery meat that can do far more harm than good. Let's start with the obvious, the sodium bomb. A single can of popular brands like Hormel, Wolf Brand, or Campbell's Chunky Chili can contain over 1,200 milligrams of sodium, more than half of your recommended daily intake. That's not hearty flavor. That's your blood pressure begging for mercy. Consistently eating high-sodium foods like canned chili can lead to hypertension, water retention, heart strain, and even kidney issues. And what about the meat inside? That 100% beef claim on the label sounds reassuring, but don't be fooled. The USDA allows processed meat products to contain mechanically separated meat, fillers, and textured soy protein as long as they meet minimal content standards. Translation? You might be eating a mix of animal byproducts, low-grade meat scraps, and soy fillers that are heavily processed to look and taste like real chili. Then comes the chemical lineup. Canned chili is a graveyard for preservatives like sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate, along with color additives and flavor enhancers that keep it fresh for years. But long-term consumption of these chemicals can trigger digestive issues, allergic reactions, and even potential carcinogenic risks. But it doesn't stop there. Many brands also sneak in added sugars, corn syrup, and refined starches to make their sauce thicker and sweeter, making your so-called savory chili just as unhealthy as junk food. And when you heat the chili directly in the can or microwave it in its packaging, as many people do, you risk BPA and plastic chemical leaching into your food. And here's something most people never think about. Canned chili has been repeatedly called out for contamination risks. Over the years, the FDA has issued recalls for botulism and metal shavings in canned chili products. Yes, actual metal. In 2007, Castleberry's food company had to recall millions of cans after a botulism outbreak linked to their chili-caused hospitalizations. So if you thought canned chili was a convenient protein fix, think again. What you're really getting is a chemical stew disguised as a meal loaded with salt, sugar, preservatives, and questionable meat sources. If you love chili, don't worry, there are clean, flavorful, and protein-rich versions you can make or buy without the chemical mess. Stick around till the end, because we'll reveal the ones that are actually worth eating. 4. Canned pasta childhood. Favorite or hidden health disaster? Let's be honest, everyone has nostalgic memories of cracking open a can of SpaghettiOs or Chef Boyardee as a kid. It was quick, it was warm, and it felt like comfort in a bowl. But what if I told you that this childhood classic is actually one of the worst canned foods you could eat as an adult? Behind that fun label and familiar taste lies a recipe that reads more like a science experiment than a meal. First off, let's talk about sugar. And yes, sugar in pasta. A single can of SpaghettiOs can pack up to 14 grams of added sugar. That's nearly as much as a chocolate bar. The sauce isn't just tomato-based, it's corn syrup-based, laced with artificial sweeteners, modified starches, and flavor enhancers that make it addictive. So instead of a comforting bowl of pasta, you're getting a carb-loaded, sugar-laden meal that spikes your blood sugar and leaves you hungrier later. Then there's the salt, the silent destroyer. One serving can contain 900 to 1,200 milligrams of sodium. And if you finish the whole can, and let's be honest, most people do, that's close to your entire day's limit. The excessive sodium contributes to bloating, dehydration, and long-term heart issues, all from a so-called kid-friendly meal. But it gets worse. The pasta itself is typically made from refined white flour stripped of its natural fiber and nutrients. That means your body burns through it fast, giving you a brief energy rush before crashing. It's like fueling your body with empty calories, no real nutrition, no real benefit. And the sauce? Loaded with preservatives, citric acid, and artificial colorings to make it shelf-stable for years. Many of these canned pastas are still sealed in BPA-lined cans, which can leach hormone-disrupting chemicals into the food, especially when heated. But here's where it gets truly concerning. Canned pasta has been flagged multiple times for contamination and quality issues. In 2019, a recall of certain Chef Boyardee varieties was issued after metal fragments were found in cans. Yes, you heard that right. Metal. That's not the kind of iron your body needs. So while canned pasta might bring back childhood nostalgia, the truth is it's a processed nightmare for your adult body. Between the sugar, sodium, chemicals, and possible contaminants, it's more junk food than meal. If you're craving pasta, don't worry, there are better ways to enjoy it without all the hidden dangers. We'll get to those safe, delicious alternatives soon. 5. Canned chicken, the protein illusion. At first glance, canned chicken seems like a practical, protein-packed shortcut. It's lean, it's affordable, and it's perfect for tossing into a quick salad or sandwich, right? That's exactly what the marketing wants you to believe. But the truth hiding under that pull-tab lid is far from appetizing. Canned chicken might look innocent, but it's often a processed, chemical-filled trap that could be doing more harm to your body than you think. Let's start with the most common misconception that canned chicken is just cooked chicken in water. If only it were that simple. Most canned chicken is actually mechanically separated, meaning the meat is forced through high-pressure machines that scrape it off bones. This process pulverizes the meat, mixes in small bone fragments, and destroys much of its natural texture and nutritional value. What you're left with is a mushy, over-processed paste that barely resembles real chicken. Then there's the sodium problem, and it's a big one. A single 4-ounce serving of canned chicken can contain up to 700 milligrams of sodium, and some brands go even higher. That's before you add any seasoning or dressing. This excessive sodium isn't just about taste, it's used as a preservative, keeping the meat shelf-stable for years. But the trade-off? Constantly spiking your blood pressure and putting strain on your heart and kidneys. And what about the preservatives themselves? Many brands use sodium phosphate, modified food starch, and flavor enhancers to make their chicken appear juicier and more flavorful. But those additives can lead to digestive discomfort, water retention, and long-term metabolic stress. Phosphates in particular have been linked to reduced bone density when consumed excessively, ironic, considering chicken is supposed to be a health food. Canned chicken also carries the risk of BPA leaching from the can lining, especially when heated. And here's the kicker, there have been multiple recalls over the years due to contamination with Listeria monocytogenes and Salmonella. In 2021, for instance, Tyson Foods had to recall nearly 9 million pounds of ready-to-eat chicken products after contamination fears and canned varieties weren't exempt from scrutiny. And let's talk about taste, or rather the lack of it. That strange metallic aftertaste? That's not your imagination. It's a combination of the metal can, preservatives, and sterilization process that kills flavor and texture alike. So while canned chicken might seem like a clean protein source, in reality, it's processed meat pretending to be healthy food. If you really want lean, pure protein, it's better to go for freshly cooked chicken breast or even frozen, unprocessed options. Stick around, we'll be revealing healthier canned choices that won't make you second guess what's really inside. 6. Canned fruit. The sugar syrup trap. Ah, canned fruit. It sounds healthy, doesn't it? After all, fruit is nature's dessert. Colorful, full of vitamins and fiber. But the moment it's canned, that healthy image crumbles. What's marketed as a nutritious snack or perfect breakfast topper often turns into a sugar-soaked, nutrient-stripped trap that's more dessert than fruit. Let's start with the most obvious culprit, the syrup. Most canned fruits like Del Monte, Dole, and Libby's are packed in heavy syrup, a thick mixture of high-fructose corn syrup, refined sugar, and water. A single cup of peaches in syrup can contain over 30 grams of added sugar that's nearly 8 teaspoons. It's like eating candy disguised as fruit. But the problem doesn't stop at sugar. The canning process itself, involving high heat and long storage times, destroys most of the fruit's natural vitamins, especially vitamin C and certain B vitamins. What's left is often just the texture and color of fruit, but not the nutrition that made it valuable in the first place. And here's the catch that most people overlook. Even when the label says packed in juice or light syrup, that doesn't mean it's healthy. Fruit juice often means concentrated sugary liquid. not the same fresh juice you'd squeeze at home. It still spikes your blood sugar just as fast, something diabetics and fitness-conscious people should be especially wary of. Then there's the preservative problem. Many canned fruit products contain ascorbic acid, citric acid, or even calcium chloride chemicals used to maintain color, texture, and shelf life. While they might sound harmless, over time they add up, especially if you're eating these regularly as a healthy snack. And yes, the BPA threat lurks here too. Since fruit is acidic, it reacts more easily with the can lining, increasing the risk of BPA leaching the hormone-disrupting chemical linked to obesity, infertility, and certain cancers. Want another reason to skip canned fruit? Mold and contamination recalls are surprisingly common. In 2023, for example, certain canned pineapple batches were pulled from stores after reports of metallic contamination and fermentation, meaning the fruit was literally spoiling inside the can. So that quick fruit fix you thought was helping your diet might actually be flooding your system with sugar, chemicals, and potential toxins. If you love fruit, stick around, because later in this video we'll show you the best ways to enjoy it with all the sweetness and none of the syrupy lies. 7. Canned beans. The sodium overload. Canned beans, black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, they've long been praised as a healthy staple, full of fiber, plant-based protein, and nutrients. But here's the shocking truth. The moment they're canned, they often become a salt bomb in disguise. Yes, beans themselves are one of the healthiest foods on the planet, but most canned versions are loaded with sodium, preservatives, and even hidden metallic contaminants that turn this superfood into a silent health risk. Let's talk numbers. A single cup of canned beans can contain up to 1,000 milligrams of sodium, nearly half of the recommended daily limit. Brands like Bush's, Goya, and Hanover are some of the worst offenders. And the tricky part? Even the reduced sodium or low sodium options can still pack over 400 to 500 milligrams per serving. That's still a lot when you realize most people eat the entire can in one go. Why so much salt? It's used not just for flavor, but also as a preservative to extend shelf life and prevent bacterial growth. But all that sodium can raise blood pressure, strain your kidneys, and increase your risk of heart disease over time. And if you're someone trying to manage bloating or weight, this hidden salt will make you feel puffy and sluggish. Then there's the BPA problem again. Most canned beans are stored in metal containers lined with bisphenol A BPA, a chemical that leaches into the food, especially when heated. BPA mimics estrogen in the body and has been linked to hormone disruption, infertility, and even certain cancers. Some brands have switched to BPA-free cans, but BPA-free doesn't always mean safe. It often means they're using BPS or BPF, which are just slightly modified versions of the same harmful compound. And here's something most people never think about. The metallic taste you sometimes notice in canned beans? That's a sign of leaching from the can lining, a clear indicator that your beans have absorbed trace amounts of metal over time. If you're trying to live healthy, that's not the kind of iron your body needs. So what's the fix? We'll get into the safe alternatives later, but here's a quick tip. If you absolutely must use canned beans, always rinse them thoroughly under cold water before eating or cooking. It can wash away up to 40% of the sodium. Not perfect, but better than nothing. Still, nothing beats the taste and nutrition of freshly cooked beans made at home, where you control the salt, the flavor, and what actually goes into your food. After seeing how many canned foods are packed with sodium, BPA, and preservatives, it's easy to feel like your pantry needs a complete overhaul. But don't worry, you don't have to give up the convenience of canned foods to stay healthy. The truth is, there are great alternatives out there, options that deliver the same ease and shelf life without the hidden dangers. Let's move from those sodium-soaked cans to clean, nutrient-rich choices that actually support your health instead of silently harming it. 1. Eden Foods Organic Canned Beans. The gold standard of clean eating. When it comes to canned foods that actually deserve a spot in your kitchen, Eden Foods organic beans are the undisputed champion. This brand was one of the first to challenge the food industry's toxic shortcuts, and they did it by focusing on what matters most: purity, nutrition, and transparency. Eden Foods doesn't just slap an organic label on their cans for marketing. They've built their reputation on real, tested quality. Every can of beans, whether it's black beans, kidney, pinto, or chickpeas, comes from non-GMO, organically grown crops. But what truly sets them apart is their BPA-free lining, which they adopted long before it became trendy or mandatory. While most brands continue to use cans lined with chemicals that leach into your food, Eden took the expensive route to keep their packaging clean and toxin-free. Another standout feature is their unique cooking method. Instead of using synthetic preservatives, they cook the beans with kombu seaweed, a mineral-rich natural sea vegetable that enhances flavor and helps improve digestibility. Kombu adds trace nutrients like iodine and magnesium while reducing the gassy effects beans can sometimes cause. Nutritionally, Eden beans are a powerhouse. They're rich in plant-based protein, loaded with dietary fiber, and naturally low in sodium, something almost unheard of in the canned food aisle. Most other brands drown their beans in salty brine to extend shelf life, but Eden keeps it simple and pure. You can taste the difference. Clean, earthy, and satisfying without that processed aftertaste. In a world full of shortcuts and artificial ingredients, Eden Foods proves that convenience and health can coexist. You're not just saving time, you're saving your health one can at a time. 2. Wild Planet Canned. Tuna and salmon reel seafood done right. Let's be honest, most canned fish brands are a nightmare in disguise. Between mercury contamination, chemical-laden oils, and overfishing practices, it's hard to know what's safe anymore. But Wild Planet changed the game completely. They built their entire brand on one mission: to make real, responsible seafood available to everyone without compromising health or ethics. Wild Planet's tuna and salmon are wild-caught, not farmed. That means the fish live and grow in their natural ocean environment instead of crowded pens filled with antibiotics and synthetic feed. Because of this, their meat is leaner, cleaner, and packed with the essential omega-3 fatty acids your body actually needs. Another major win? Sustainability. Wild Planet only uses pole and line or troll fishing methods, the most eco-friendly techniques known, ensuring zero bycatch, meaning no dolphins, turtles, or unintended marine life are harmed. That commitment to the environment makes every bite guilt-free. Unlike many mainstream brands that pack their fish in oil, heavy brine, or even preservatives, Wild Planet keeps it 100% natural. Their tuna and salmon are packed in their own natural juices, which preserve both flavor and nutrients. You get the pure taste of fish, not saltwater or additives. They also use BPA-free cans and perform rigorous mercury testing to ensure safety. This makes Wild Planet one of the very few canned seafood options you can truly trust to feed your family. From a nutritional standpoint, a single serving of their tuna provides around 20 grams of high-quality protein and a solid dose of heart-healthy omega-3s without the guilt, grease, or artificial junk. And there you have it, the 8 canned foods you should avoid at all costs, along with a few safe and healthy options that won't compromise your well-being. Remember, it's not about cutting out convenience completely. It's about making smarter choices and knowing what's really inside the can. If this video opened your eyes or made you rethink what's in your pantry, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our future videos, uncovering the hidden truths behind everyday foods. We've got plenty more coming up, from snacks that seem healthy but aren't, to fast food items nutritionists warn you about. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's next. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay aware, stay healthy, and keep learning what's really fueling your body.